born ready.
Welcome for the first time to Prescription Punk Rock. It's not the first time we met. We met at the Puzza for the first time, and then at the Red Bridge. And one greatest moment of my life when my little kid, Eden, that was 4 back in the days when you play at the Red Bridge, he saw you on stage. And right after the set, you girls get out of the stage and you high five him. And normally he's
Oh,
really, he's shy, but he went for it. And that was a great moment.
I think I remember that. Yeah, anytime a child gets it and gets punk rock, I'm like, fuck yeah, come give me a hug.
That's amazing. But for people wondering, and I'm surprised that didn't recognize those beautiful eyes behind those beautiful glasses, who the hell are you?
Me?
Yeah, right.
Yeah. I have to wear glasses now because I can't see anymore. It's reader time. Like if it's just this, I can't see.
Stacey D from Bad Cup Bad Gum. Welcome to Prescription Punk Rock. We did our top 25 from last year's. I don't care about the order, but of course, that records, I've got it stuck in my head. I listened to it a lot. It's amazing records.
Thank
It
you.
was crazy because it was 10 years after the release of the first records. So let's get back to the beginning, not of the band, but your beginning. How did you start discovering music when you were a kid? And were you for a musical background, family, friends around?
Yeah, I my dad is a singer-songwriter and a ripping guitar player. I when I was born, I my parents lived with the band in San Francisco, and so I moved right into the band house. So I've lived this my entire life. Yeah, so my mom used to say, when you were a baby, if we put you away to go to bed, you would cry, cry, cry. But if I just put you in the middle of the floor around everybody, you'd go right to sleep. And I was like, I'm still that way. I could sleep in the middle of any kind of concert, any loud noises. I kind of prefer being around a lot of people. Although as I'm getting older, I do now really appreciate some downtime and alone time. I guess that's where I recharge, but yeah, when I was little, yeah, I, and then my dad and I played music together my whole life. We always had stuff around the house, a piano. We had a drum set up in one of the rooms, and I've been playing the drums since I was 4. I just always knew how to do it. I would sit down, my dad's band would come over and jam, and they never had a drummer, and I would go sit back there, and because I knew how to do at least like with the kick and everything. And so I've always known, I don't know why, drums kind of came to me naturally, and piano. And then my dad was always pushing a guitar on me, and I just wasn't ready to ever do that. I used to walk around his rehearsal space and be like, okay, I'll sit behind the drums, I'll play a little piano, and then I'd look at the guitar and I'd say, I'll never be able to play you. But I finally, I picked up my guitar a lot later in life. I started playing when I was 20. I finally picked up the guitar at 20, but turns out I was a songwriter. Who knew, I was out there partying in life and all this, and then picked up the guitar. I learned a couple chords from my dad, and I moved down to Santa Barbara, and 3 years later I came back. I was like, Dad, I think I'm a songwriter. And he was like, okay, whatever. This child of mine who has had no future plans for anything. And I played him a couple of my first songs, and he was like, we have to record that. And so, yeah, I started playing acoustically out with him, and it was just kind of singer songwriter stuff. And yeah, and then I started my first real band at 25, and that's the Angry Amputees.
That's amazing. And how was it, growing up in San Francisco? It was such a time when your parents were involved in
Oh
music.
boy.
There was crazy time. I mean, there was an
Yeah.
explosion there.
Yeah, my dad was playing reggae in the city in 72, which he had a
Wow.
band called Jamocha, right, with a girl front person. And so I always got to see a woman doing music from since I was born, right? So like I always knew that that was a possibility. And then my mom, when I was 5, my mom went back to work and she worked for Bill Graham. And Bill Graham was the biggest concert promoter in the Bay Area. He was kind of responsible for the Grateful Dead, and
Yeah.
but he had a merch company called Winterland Productions, and my mom worked for the merch company, and so I really grew up in rock t-shirts because they were free. And I was just on Toby Morris's podcast, and I said, when I was in the 3rd grade, I had a satin rat jacket.
How
I was
many
like,
kids got that?
all the boys were like, why do you have all this great shit? I mean, I had like Twisted Sister t-shirt, everything that came out at the time. I had, because but sometimes the funny thing was my mom always got misprints for free. So if something was just off a little bit, like we had Wham was huge, and they had this sweatshirt that said Wham across, but like one had the missing W, so it just said ham, and like so I'd wear that shit. Yeah, but then every once in a while a really cool, she'd get, or like a really great Madonna or something. I remember Madonna had this one t-shirt that had raised print, like lace on the regular t-shirt. It was so freaking cool. And you know what, to be honest, I still have a couple from 1981. I've got a Grateful Dead and a Rolling Stones from 1981 that are both worth about $500, just hanging up right here in my cloffice.
When you gonna retire, man, you got all
Yeah.
the stuff to sell on eBay. But that's great. That's the first cassette I've got. My
No
parents,
way.
yeah, they were into Columbia House, and I didn't have anything like
Is
metal
that
or
True
punk.
Blue? Was that True
Yeah,
Blue?
True Blue was the
Fucking True
first.
Blue is one of the
Yeah,
best records ever,
yeah,
dude. I
it's a
love that song.
masterpiece. My friend were
Yeah,
laughing about me because I was listening to that, and when they find the cassette, they're like, "What the fuck, Eric?" And I'm like, "I
that's
love that
amazing.
record. It changed
It's
my
such a great
life."
record. Yeah, it's
So
such a great record. Yeah, my mom, I got to go. Another thing was because my mom worked for Bill Graham in Winterland, we got a lot of concert tickets like for free, and they were always really great seating. So my parents, like the first band that I picked that I was like, this is my music, was the Go-Go's.
oh,
In like 1980. And in 1981, they did the Beauty and the Beat tour, and I got to see them. I was 6 years old at the Greek Theater in Berkeley. My parents took me, and I was kind of a wild child, so I like broke free of my parents and I ran down to the front of the stage, and I had my head on the stage, and I saw Jane Weedland, and I was like, that's what I'm going to do with the rest of my life. And it totally was what I did.
but that's crazy because I saw the documentary and I knew the impact, but when you get into they have such an important place in the history, not
Oh
just
boy.
for women, for music. They really changed everything at that time. But that's so cool because I was wondering what was your background, because I felt when I listened to Bad Cup that there's so much stuff in the band, and you understood maybe more than a lot of band when they start, and I get it. So you knew what to do, and you have that open mind that I think you need to step ahead in a way, because it's easy to reproduce something you love,
Yeah.
but creating
Yeah.
something so different that it blow everybody's minds is a challenge. So it's so cool that your parents embrace you in their world and not try to live it and hide it to you. I think that's
No. Geez, the one thing is like soon as I had, figured out that this was who I was and who I was always supposed to be, my parents were just so excited, and they've been such supporters. I mean, even still, my mom's like, "You're gonna make it, baby." It's like, yeah, she's great. But my mom, even with my first band, she used to listen to the record, driving to work every day. She's like, I'm singing along to it. So cute. And my dad, I played him off our new record. I played him Disbelief, and I was up there visiting him, and he was just like, he was rocking out to it. He's like, God, sweetie, this is just so good. It's like, yeah. And like I got to give him, we're reverend guitar artists, and My signature model, I got to bring it up and give my dad, my a signature model of my own guitar. Like, can you even believe it? My dad is such a ripping guitar player. He's like, God, I just wish I got to go do it like you're doing it, And it's like, well, at least, through me, you are.
Yeah, yeah, and that's another thing, and it's an interesting point because a lot of people got the gift, but life is it's different. The history of everyone is different, so it's not
Yeah.
everybody that are able to reach that goal of being not a full time, but just playing regularly and the
Yeah.
kids and everything, and you get stuck in life. So it's cool that they support you and you can see that. And in a way, you're right. It's the same blood.
Right. I'm taking it out there for all of us, for all of us, going back to the beginning of time.
So how you met the girl? The first records was released 10 years, 11 years
The
ago now.
first, yeah, the first record came out in, I think the first thing we did was an EP, Boss Lady. And well, actually, the first thing we did was our self-released, and I think that came out in 2012 or 2013, which we still love. I mean, Lynn and I were playing a song off of it last night. So we've got an acoustic show tonight at Alex's bar near us here in Long Beach, to raise money for ice resistance, keep ice out of,
Yes.
yeah. So it's a fundraiser, but so we're gonna go do that. But we love that first EP. It's cool. And then Boss Lady came out in 2014, and then Not Sorry came out in 2015, I think.
Yes.
And then Warriors came out in 2017. The Ride came out in 2020, right during COVID, which is another. All these records are really great. I'm glad that we got the opportunity. But with The Ride, we were kind of stunted because of COVID, and Fat was like, maybe we wait to put this out until this thing is over, and then we decided, no, let's just put it out and give some joy to folks who are sitting at home really listening to music and all that kind of stuff. So we did that, and then this one 5 years later, with so much difference. This last record, we didn't have Fat Mike working on it. We didn't have Davey Warsop working on it. We didn't have Jenny on it. We didn't. There was a lot of things that changed, but we did get to. I'm so proud of this record because this was the first time that I was like, I don't care what anybody else is doing. I don't care what anybody else thinks about this. All I care about is us and what the fuck we're doing. And I'm just so proud of the record. I absolutely love it, and it's my favorite thing I've ever done.
And congratulations. I mean, it's a
Thank you.
masterpiece. Like I said,
Thank
I
you.
listened to it a lot. And I mean, there's something to be proud of because it would be easy to say, oh, you had the perfect team, through the first three records. So it's easy, but you didn't. You went outside that comfortable zone. And it's not an ego thing to do it for yourself. It's your music first. You
Right.
release something that you got in your head and then it's them. You release it and the public choose what they do with it, but you're
Right.
done your job. And it's so sad when artists are like, oh, I don't like that records or whatever reason. It's you have to be proud of what you release, and it's so cool to hear. And it was a refreshing records for last year's.
Thank you.
And 2025 was kind of not the big year for punk rock release. So
Right.
I think that record stood a lot from the release in every genre.
Oh, I really am. I'm grateful to hear that. Thank you so much, and thanks for listening to it, and really thanks for getting it and loving it. I mean, it's a very much more personal record. I mean, there's like Warriors, it's unapologetically strong. You know what I mean? And The Ride kind of is as well. Where I feel like this record kind of goes back to some of the reasons why we had to be strong in the first place. And this is the first time that in the history of the band was able, well, actually, since I changed my life, since 2000, I think it was 2015 that I went through some stuff, 2016. So when Warriors came out, I really needed a lot of help. I I didn't trust myself. I didn't know. I would always write from kind of a negative perspective, and then Warriors, I didn't know how to flip the switch, and so I got some help from Davey. I got some help from Fat Mike. You know, there was a lot of people that really helped me make that record great. Um, and the ride was kind of that same way, but this one was just really like finally being able to trust myself, go back to touch on some of the things that were really important to me in my life, and yeah, and not be afraid to go back into some of the shadow stuff, and you know, because I really was for a long time afraid to touch on it because I didn't want to go back there and then be in that same place of hurt and pain and be stuck in it, you know. I finally was in a strong enough spot where I knew that touching on it wasn't going to affect the quality of my life now. So yeah, so um it was great. And I got to work with my boyfriend, and he is a genius. You know, I don't know if you know who he is, but he's Michael Happel. He goes by Miguel in the world of music, and he produced Sublime and Slightly Stupid, and he's in Long Beach Dub All Stars. And he really got, if you know, I now knowing what my boyfriend does in music, he lets the artist be the artist, and then he puts things in that would be like, why don't we do this? And it like an 808, and it's like, fuck yeah, I want an 808. You know what I mean? Like, because that's right up my alley too. And he knows that about me. He knows that about us. And yeah, so it was just wonderful to get to work with everybody we love. I mean, we recorded it here in Long Beach at a place called The Compound, and it's just so bohemian and such a cool space that we all feel so comfortable in. And Antoine, who engineered it, the music stuff, it was just wonderful to work with. And I'd be like, no, but it's got to be this way, and he'd be like, we're doing it our way. And it was like, okay, we're doing it our fucking way. And then when we took it to sing it with Johnny Carey, who is one of my favorite people to do vocals with, we just had the best time. Lynn, Johnny, and I spent, I think it was 10, 11-hour days just singing the record. Just singing the record, because we wanted, you know, it was like we wanted those harmonies to be so locked in. I mean, there was times where I was like, oh, I'm not hearing it yet. I'm not hearing it yet. And Johnny would be like, Stacey, don't worry about it, you know, because it got there, you know, and
Yeah.
it was just awesome. And I would do it that way again. You know, I think that will be the next record as well. If everybody's up for it, you know, if Johnny's up for it, if Antoine's up for it, and Michael is already starting to produce me in different ways, like, hey babe, get in here and do a sound check. And, you know, why don't you play that song you guys were playing at, you know, a sound check on tour, you know, why don't you start, you know, just kind of getting me loosened up, you know, to hit it again. Because like after you do a record like that, and then you wait and wait and wait for it to come out, because we had to wait a really long time for it to come out. It was, you know, it gets painful, and you get filled with anxiety, and so after it comes out, you just kind of want to take a deep breath and enjoy it for a little bit before jumping right in. Or at least me. A lot of people, you know, don't want to sit on their laurels of what they've done. They're ready to move on to the next thing. But I really just wanted to you know, soak it up for a little bit before I jump back into it. But I'm starting.
That's so cool. That's so cool.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, huge Long Beach fans. And I saw the lineup with Sublime, because they're gonna play with Sublime and Jacob. And I mean,
Yeah.
it blew my mind what's happening. And
Yeah.
it's funny because we have a huge festival, the Festival d'été in Quebec, and I'm like, I hope so bad that they pick Sublime. Maybe not this year's, but Quebec need that. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. They're killing it. It's really exciting to watch that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. Punk, you know, for the last years, a lot of people were complaining that there's no youth, there's no, you know, new wave of band. But with Turnstile that win the Grammys last year's, it really officialized that post-hardcore is the new soundtrack for maybe the 15 to 25, maybe even 30. And I think it's gonna be interesting, that wave. And at some point, we're gonna mix the nostalgia with the new youth. Did you see that in the States right now?
Yeah, I am seeing it a lot. You know, when we play all ages shows, so many kids come, so many kids love it. Um, you know, watching kids like Sarah Linja, the drummer, you know, like and kids out in the UK, Yeloy and the Dollheads and you know, some of those bands, I'm just so excited for them, you know. It's punk rock is never going to go away. It's like hip hop, you know, we're a culture. When you live in this, you are in this for life. You don't just change. You know,
Oh,
it's
you're stuck in it.
yeah, you never
It's a
go, you never
virus.
it's, no, I really believe it's a culture, you know, parents that raise their kids on punk, those kids love punk, and it's an important genre of music. And you know, I'm certainly proud to come from it. That's for sure.
You're right. That was the main problem. I think that, the accessibility of all age show was the main problem, because it's not kids that didn't want punk rock. They didn't have access to that. Because
Right.
like everybody who saw somebody playing normally, like not shredding or anything, say, hey, I can do that. I want to do that. Like you
I
did
want to
with
do
the
that.
Go-Go's. You were
That's right.
right in front seeing them and like, I'm going to do that. And you did, because you had access to that. So
Exactly
giving
right.
them back the access to that. And it's everywhere in the world. We have the same law here, but it's so hypocrite to say, because there's all age venue that sell alcohol and they say, oh no, kids can drink alcohol. Fuck that. We're parents. We're going to take care of our kids. Let
Exactly
them
right.
go to all ages show.
Yeah. Yeah. And let there be more access to all ages shows, you
Yeah.
know, let other venues not be afraid to open the doors to kids. I mean, I've got, you know, younger people in my life that I always say, well, this is my niece or nephew, and they'll stand by the merch booth. So I'm watching them. Is it okay if they come? And so I've gotten away with a lot, sneaking a lot of kids into shows in the past. You know, no, this is my nephew, you know, but you know, it goes to show like the youth hardcore scene, where I'm seeing some of the kids that, you know, that are my nieces and nephews, that I consider my nieces and nephews, going to where, you know, they are just exploding with rage. And I watch some of those, you know, concerts, and I'm like, really, you guys just go in there and beat the shit out of each other? Well, all right, I guess, you know, we need to work some angst out, and if we do it there, it's probably better than, you know, wanting to be some sort of school shooter.
That's crazy. When you were talking about writing music, that's the thing. If a band got a good songwriters, it's crazy. When a band got two, it blow everybody minds. But for you, is it more easy with time to write music, or is it harder?
um i I love sharing the space with Lynn, or when Jenny was in the band, with other songwriters. I mean, I fronted a lot of bands before, and you know, having to sing the whole set by myself and be on tour and all that kind of stuff is was always difficult, and I'd lose my voice. And you know, and but that was kind of in my first bands and stuff, where I was screaming a lot more than singing, where I feel like I sing a lot more now. But I love seeing Lynn, you know, write songs. I love working with her. She and I work together so easily with music. There's no ego. No one person has to be right. No one person has to push another one, you know, up against the wall to get their way. And she and I just work so effortlessly like that. And I love it. Like just having her here last night, we were practicing acoustic stuff, and I was like, fuck, I really love this with you. You know, I love spending time with you. I love doing music with you. I laugh. I just super enjoy it. Yeah. So I don't know. Right now, I, my dude's going out of town this weekend, so I'll probably spend a lot of time with my guitar, as I'll be home by myself, and we'll see what happens. I've been going through all my old notes on my phone, going back to like 2013, and I've got so many fully written songs in there that just need to be tuned up or brought to the band to see what the band does with them. So yeah, I mean, Michael's always like, you already have the record. It's there. You just need to go back and find it and fine tune it. You know, that's the work. So we'll see. But I am writing some good new stuff too. And yeah, you just never know what's going to come out. You know, like with this last record, I didn't know that, we would have gotten a little reggae number that had some hip hop in it and Karina Denike singing on it. And my dear friend Tumex, who's just an absolute legend, hip hop legend here in Los Angeles Underground. And, so I was really proud to bring in all these different influences that I love, because I do have a hip hop background. I do love reggae so much. And I just feel like it was a more well-rounded record than just the homogenized Fat Record sound. I feel like we got to really explore things that made it ours this time.
Yeah, because Bad Cup is more than just a punk band. I think you have, like
Yeah.
I said, so variety inside the band that it's so cool that you embrace that. And I think hip hop it took a long time since he entered into punk rock, like the reggae, the ska, it was. But hip hop was not a thing, in the 80s that there was a whole wheat bread, I think, that did that.
Yeah,
But
yeah. Remember that?
when Sam King
Yeah,
arrived with Get Dead and when he did Code Defendants, a lot of people realized, we're from the same era. Rap was the thing. I
yeah,
mean, I was listening to a lot to Wu-Tang, Public Enemy. And so
yeah.
it's so cool that you embrace that and bring that and don't restrain yourself thinking what people's going to think. They're going to fuck that. You, like I said, it's not an ego thing. It's for you. And I think it was really interesting in the record that you bring that element.
Thank you so much. Yeah, Sam and I go back 20 years in San Francisco, and he was a hip hop guy, skateboarder, and I was always we always bonded over the things we loved in hip hop. And then, he had this band called Louie and the Regals, which a lot of people don't know, but it was awesome. It was so good. It was before Get Dead, and Mikey was in it as well. And it was just a wonderful, wonderful band. And then with Get Dead, of course, he brought in those elements um to be quite honest, uh on the ride, our song Originators, there the way that I wrote it was for Sam to do this rap bit at the beginning of Originators. And we had, and I brought it to Fat Mike and I was like, this is what I want on this. And Mike was like, oh, no, no, that's two different songs. And we'll do that we'll do something else with that. And never happened. And then, with co-defendants, when Sam started working on all those beats, I would go over and Mike would be like, listen to this. This is just the coolest shit ever. I never thought, and then my two worlds kind of collided because of all the work that I've done in underground hip hop in Los Angeles with, Chesky comes from that same family, the Grim Image family. And so when that everybody was in the room there, it was like it felt people were asking me, are you the same Stacey from the Returners? Are you still the same Stacey D from, and I was like, yeah, that's
Same
yeah,
person.
same person, so it was cool to see those kind of worlds collide. And I just love it. I mean, I love co-defendants. I think that style is just so authentic and rad. And I love what they're doing. And they're both, all three of them are such talented writers, and they are creating something very, very cool.
Yeah, yeah, and they're in Quebec in a couple of weeks on March 15, and
Oh,
can't
great.
wait. I missed them. They were in November, and they love like they wanted I think to do 2 nights, but it wasn't possible. So they came back like less than 6 months, came back to Quebec. So, but yeah, they nail it. Even people that
So
not
great.
into hip hop, just love it. And the new single, whoa, man!
Oh, I know. It's so good with the DOC. I'm just like, Doc, fuck yeah, man. It's just perfect, yeah, it's great. I am very happy for them. I want to see huge success. I don't think that anything sounds like that or like them. And I think it's important. And yeah, I just love it.
It's crazy because, when we saw it was Montreal for us, when we saw the last show of NoFX, a lot of people were like feeling that, punk rock would decline. Because let's face it, NoFX is the most important, most influential band of
Yeah,
my generation. I mean,
yeah,
what they did, and it's tough to see everything, the impact that they got around the world. But the thing is, it was not, and you prove it. It's crazy how much, like you said, punk will always be in our culture, and I
yeah,
think it's getting just more stronger. And yeah, of course, Norfix leave a hole, but everybody's feeling it right now. Not just one band.
yeah, yeah. There's tons of great punk bands, and No Effects definitely, though, I will say, did so much for other punk bands. Mike was always so great and gracious about, putting smaller bands on shows, making sure that the bands that he thought were great got, time to shine. And they did so much for so many other acts. They really, 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 really did. And they are gosh, they were kind of like, yeah, it felt like the leaders of that whole scene, you know what I mean? Yeah. And I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. I think that they'll always do music, right? They've got new music out too.
I would be really sad if Mike would stop. It's in her blood, but I don't think he
Yeah.
will. It's gonna be different and interesting. But yeah,
Yeah.
that's how the world change, and it's okay. I embrace it. I can't wait to see the future of punk and can't wait to
Me
see
too.
what's coming up. But definitely everybody uh work something to stay that a community and that dysfunctional family that we are.
Right. That is very true. Very, very true.
What's gonna be 2026 for you girls? Is there any chance to see you back in Quebec this year?
I believe so, but I don't think I'm allowed to say it out loud yet. We've got a very big year. We're going back to Europe to do all the festivals. We've got a lot of stuff in the US. We've got the Warp Tours. We've got yeah, we've got a lot going on. So keep posted, and I really hope that we come back as well, because Red Bridge is so fun, and your guys's city is just your guys's area is just chef's kiss. It's beautiful up there. Beautiful.
Thank you, Stacey. You are amazing. People, go grab the new records. It's available. Of course, go on Bad Cup official website. Encourage the
Yeah.
band. Go see them live. And if you don't have money, we get it. It's available on every platform. Learn the song and challenge yourself and go sing them in front of
Thank you,
Stacey.
Eric. Thank you so much. Yeah, we know, we've got to remember that live music is such a blessing and offers so much to folks. I think since COVID, a lot of people have decided that it's not as important, or, but I know, I think that folks just need to get back out there, get back out there.
Yeah, politicians decide that culture is not important, but we knew that saved our life during 2 years
Yeah,
of pandemic. You were
that's
watching
really
movie,
right.
that's culture. You
Yeah,
miss seeing show, that's culture. You miss going to the museum, that's culture. It's so
right.
important. And
It's
Stacey,
so
thank
important.
you for losing money in the name of music for all these years.
That is the truth.
Stacey, see you around, and thank
Okay.
you every time. You always been generous with me, and it was so cool to finally do this interview. And I keep you posted when I air it. And until then, have
Great.
the time of your life. Have a
Thank
great
you.
acoustic show, and let's do
Thank
this
you.
in Quebec. Come play acoustic and with the
Oh, we'd
girls, full
love
band.
to. That's
That would
what
be
we should
great.
do when we come back, is come and do I don't know, play at your house or something.
Yeah, yeah. Come play my house. I will love
Yeah.
that. And Poudre Fest, Redbridge, whatever festival, ride them. Stacey, thank
Okay.
you. Have a
You
killer
got
show
it.
tonight, and see you
Thanks,
around.
Eric. All right, bye guys.
Cheers. Bye bye.
Bye.
Prescription is what you need. No more inhibition.